Saraswati Sisukunj Vagwala Borsad, English Medium Standard 8, Subject Science. And we are going to revise today question number 4, A and B both. Okay, so let's see first number, that is question number 4B. Answer the following questions in detail. It is total of 8 marks, right? Means one question if you will write, you will get 4 marks. Okay, see the first one. With the help of diagram, explain that the pressure exerted by liquid increases with the depth of liquid column in the container. Now here you can see the container, right? Here you can see the container, and there are 3 tubes, right? Which is here A, B and C. These tubes you can see clearly, right? And they are at some different height, right? Okay, so let's see the first point, how we are going to write this answer. See first one. As shown in figure, there are 3 tubes, right? A, B and C of the same diameter. The diameter is same. Placed at the different height in a container. They are placed at the different height, as you can see in the figure. In the beginning, all these 3 tubes are closed with cork. Means right now the container is empty and these all tubes are closed with a cork, right? Okay, now what we'll do, see. So now water is filled in the container and then cork of all the 3 tubes is open all together. Now what you have to do, you have to open that all corks which you have seen here, right? A, B and C corks you have to open all together, right? Then what will happen? The water coming out of tube A falls near the bottom of the container, right? What will happen? The water that comes out from A tube, it will fall near to the container, right? And B will fall little bit away from the bottom. The water that falls from tube C will fall little bit more far away from it. Here you can see clearly in the figure, right? That this is for A, this is for B and this is for C, right? That we can say that A falls near to the bottom, right? B falls little bit far away and C falls here. It is more far away. So the depth of water is least near tube A, whereas the depth of water is maximum near tube C. Means A is not deep, but tube C is deep. Okay, since the pressure of water in tube A is less, it falls near the bottom of the container. Because A is not deep, so it falls near to the bottom of the container. But from C, tube water falls far as the pressure is high. From C, water falls little bit far because there the pressure is high. That is why. Thus, from the observation, we can say that the liquid that has more depth has more pressure, right? The liquid that has more depth, it has more pressure. Okay, let's see next question. What is the second question? Explain magnetic force and gravitational force. 2 kind of force you have to explain in one answer. Now see the answer. First point here. The force exerted by magnet is called magnetic force. First is the definition of magnetic force. So easy, right? Second point. 2 like poles of magnet will repel each other. 2 like poles means you know N and N, or means north and north, or south and south will repel each other. And 2 unlike poles means north and south will attract each other. Attraction and repulsion between object can also be seen as another form of push or pull. Means here, if you are talking about attraction, it means they are pulling each other, right? Now if you are talking about repulsion, it means they are pushing each other, right? They are pushing each other away. Okay, now let's see third point. A magnet can exert force on another magnet without being in a contact with each other, right? Magnet are applying force without touching each other. The force exerted by magnet is an example of non-contact force. The force which is here, which is by magnet, it is non-contact force. See the next point here. The force exerted by magnet on a piece of iron is also non-contact force. Now if that magnet is applying force on an iron piece, so that is also non-contact force. So this is explanation is about magnetic force. Now let's see for gravitation. Now to understand gravitational force, take example of a coin or a pen that falls on the ground when it slips from your hand, right? When it slips, it falls on the ground. Now see the second point. When a coin or a pen held in your hand and it is at the rest, as soon as it released, it begins to move downwards towards the ground. When it will fall from your hand, it will start moving downwards towards the ground. State of motion of a pen or a coin undergoes a change. Means what was the state in the beginning? It was at rest. Now it start falling. So the state is changing, no? State of motion is undergoes the change. So a force that changes into the state of motion of a pen or a coin is called Earth's gravitational force, right? When the state of motion changes, right, it means there is some force which is applied on the object. So here in our case it is gravitation force. So we can say that every object in the universe exerts a gravitational force on every other object, right? Everything which is in the universe, any object is applying force on one another. Okay, now let's see third number question. Explain the electrostatic force with suitable example. Here we need to give examples to understand electrostatic force. See first one. When we run a piece of a paper with the oil in our hand with the help of comb, what you have to do? Piece of a paper in your hand and comb, you have to rub it. So a comb will attract that piece of a paper. After rubbing, when you will try to keep that comb nearby the paper, it will attract that. Here the piece of paper is charged when we rub it on our hand, so it gets attracted by non-charged comb. Piece of paper is charged, right? And that is why it is getting attracted by comb. Okay, now let's see next point. Balloon get attracted to another balloon when one of them is rubbed with hair. When one balloon, if you rub with your hair and if you try to keep that balloon with the other balloon, they will attract each other. Means one balloon is charged because you rub it with your head. Okay, let's see next point. The attraction of paper to charged scale, right? If you rub that scale on your head, so it will attract small pieces of paper. So here we can say that a scale is charged object and a paper act as non-charged object. That is why, that is the reason behind the attraction between that papers and comb. This all are examples of non-contact force, which is electrostatic force, right? This example that we wrote, it is all about electrostatic force. The force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged. The force exerted by charged body, here charged body on two types of body. One is a charged body and other one is uncharged body, right? Again, the force exerted by charged body on another charged body or another uncharged body, right? It is known as electrostatic force. Okay. So next one is fourth number question. Write different methods of increasing friction. Now here, as we know that friction is, a necessary evil. Means it is there are many benefits of friction and there are disadvantages, right? Advantages and disadvantages. So right now we need to increase the friction in some cases. So how we can do that? We have to write those examples. See, a first one. The friction can be increased by increasing roughness of the surface. That we all know. If you increase the roughness, friction will increase. First example is here. The sole of the shoes and tires of vehicles are threaded to increase the friction. You have seen, many kind of spikes and pits on the tires, even on your sole of the shoes, right? So that will increase the friction. See next one. Brake pads are used to increase friction in bicycle and other vehicles. Brake pads, what they will do? They will get rubbed with a rim of your bicycle and it will increase the friction to stop your vehicle. Okay, see the next point. Kabaddi players rub their hands with soil for better grip on their opponents, right? Because in kabaddi players they need to hold each other tightly. So if there is more friction, it will be easy to hold the other participants. Okay, let's see next one. Gymnasts apply some substance like powder-like substance on their hands to increase friction for better grip, right? So you have seen, if you watch matches, right, on television, so they are using that powder-like substance on their palms to increase the grip. See the next one. Rough hand grip are also used in bat for better grip for batsmen, right? There is a rubber grip on bat, right? So it will increase the grip for batsmen. Let's see next. Let's see 5 number question. Write different methods of reducing friction. Okay, so how we can reduce the friction? If you reduce the roughness of the surface, friction will become reduced, right? It will reduce. Okay, see the first point. The friction can be decreased by decreasing roughness of the surface. Okay, first point. We sprinkle fine powder on carom board, right? When we sprinkle the fine powder, it will be easy to play the carom board with the striker and kukris, right? It will move very smoothly on the carom board. That is first example. See the second one. A few drops of oil are poured on the hinge of door and windows. When there are some specific kind of sound comes when you will close or open the door, right? So to decrease that sound, what we are doing, we are just applying some drops of oil on the hinge joint of our doors and windows, so that sound will decrease. Okay, see the next point. Bicycle and motor mechanics use grease between moving parts of the machines, right? Bicycles or bike mechanics or car mechanics, they are using many kind of you have heard about engine oils, right? So they are using it for engine is a moving part of any kind of vehicle, so they will use that oil, engine oil. There are many other parts in which they are using different kind of grease, oil, right? See the next point. In machines, oil, grease or graphite is applied between the moving parts of the machine. There are many machines in the world, right? We are surrounded by many machines and there are many moving parts with that machines. So to reduce friction, right, they are using these things, right? We also known as lubricants, right? We also know that thing with the name lubricants. Okay, so these are the points by which we can reduce the friction. Let's see 6 number question. Explain the fluid friction and describe one of the methods to reduce it, right? How we can reduce fluid friction and what is the fluid friction that? First of all, what is fluid? So all kind of gases and liquids are known as fluid in our science language, we can say. See the first point here. A substance that can flow. A substance that can flow means in the bracket gases and liquid is called fluid, right? As I told you that all kind of gases and liquid are known as fluid. The friction exerted by air, gases and liquid on moving object is called fluid friction. When these objects, means if we talk about aeroplanes, if we talk about steamer, if we talk about boats, so they are moving in the fluid. Submarines, they are moving inside, actually inside the water. So when they are moving, this fluid will apply some friction. There will be some friction between the object and the fluid, right? So that is the fluid friction, or we understand that with other word, that is drag. Okay, see the next point here. The frictional force exerted by fluids on moving object, right? The fluid will apply some force to stop that, right? So that is known as drag, or we can say it is fluid friction. See the next point here. Fluid friction depends on the speed of object with the respect to fluid. There are 3 points. I told you that these 3 points are so much important to understand fluid friction, right? First one, it is depends on the speed of object with respect to fluid, shape of the object and nature of the object. Even it is depends on the nature of fluid too, right? For the different fluid, the friction will be different. So these 3 points. See the next point here. When the object moves through the fluid, they have to overcome friction acting on them. When the objects are moving, right, as I told you, there will be some friction. So to move ahead, they have to overcome from the friction, right? And to do that, in this process, they are losing their energy. They lost their energy to move ahead, right? If I am saying you that you are on the road and someone is trying to stop you, what you will do? You will also apply the force, that person will also apply the force. But if you want to move ahead, what you need to do? You need to overcome from that force, right? Then only you can move ahead. Now see here. So for that, the friction should be less here, right? We need to decrease the friction. So what is the point how we can reduce the friction for the objects which move in the fluid? So we need to change the shape. So the objects are given special shapes to reduce fluid friction. Here, these shapes are called streamlined shapes, right? These shapes are called streamlined shapes. As you have seen that, boat has also streamlined shape. If you see aeroplanes, it also has streamlined shape, narrow from the front and back. If you see boats, they are also narrow from front and back. But if you see the middle part, it is little bit wide. So that is streamlined. Okay, in which animals like fish, if we talk about, or bird, you just see their body. What is the shape of their body, right? It is also narrow from front and back, right? If we talk about bird, it is also narrow from front and back. So that kind of shapes are known as streamlined shapes. So streamlined shape of the object has shape like birds and fishes, right? As I told you. Okay, so this is how we can reduce the friction. We can reduce the fluid friction. Okay, let's see next. Okay, so now let's see question number 4, that is give scientific reasons. It is of 6 marks, right? See the first one. The handle of cricket bat is usually rough. So why we are keeping that rough? To get the better grip on the bat handle, right? Okay, see answer here. So the handle of cricket bat is rough. That increases the friction between handle and hand. It provides better grip on the handle. Therefore, the handle of cricket bat is usually rough, right? So when you are playing cricket, so you are able to hold that bat properly, right? If it is smooth, right, if the handle is smooth, then anytime while playing a shot, it will slip from your hand, right? That is why the grip of the handle is a little bit rough. Let's see next number, that is the sole of shoes get worn out after some period of time, right? It is also because of friction, because we are purchasing new shoes, right? Maybe every year or maybe after some months, right? Okay, see the answer here. The sole of shoes worn out after period of time due to the continuous rubbing of shoes with the ground. Why? When you are walking, that sole is getting rubbed continuously on the road or on the ground, and that is why it get damaged. So when it get continuously rubbed, right, it damages the spike of the sole slowly and sole becomes slippery, right? So that is why you are purchasing your shoes new, right, after some months or after year, because of this, because it worn out. Okay, see the next one. The talcum powder is sprinkled on the carom board before playing, right? Why? There also we are reducing the friction, so we can play it well. See the answer here. The surface of the carom board becomes smooth when the talcum powder is sprinkled on it. The surface becomes smooth, right? And we all know that is of wood, right? That carom board is of wood, so that wood is little bit rough, right? Okay, and that is why we are decreasing friction over there by sprinkling powder. So it reduces the friction between surface of carom board and striker, or we can say kukris. Hence kukris move easily with the fewer efforts on carom board, right? And that is why those kukris move smoothly on the carom board. Let's see next, give reason. Brake pads are used in the brake system of the bicycles and automobiles, right? You have seen that in all vehicles there is a brake system. Now brake system is basically work on friction, because tires of these vehicles are in motion when you are riding this kind of vehicles, right? It moves. Now if you want to stop, this friction will help you. Now how it will help? Let's see here in this answer. See, when the bicycle is in motion, or any kind of object is in motion, right? Or we are talking about vehicles here. The brake pads do not touch the wheel. When vehicle is in motion, brake pad will not touch the wheels. But when this brake lever is applied or it is pressed, right, this pads arrest the motion of the rim due to the friction. The wheel stops moving, right? Now you have seen the brakes, right? When you will press the lever of a brake, right, so that rubber which is there in that, it will stick with the rim, right, tightly. And then that rim and the rubber which is in the brake. Between that two surfaces there will be friction, and because of that friction your tire stops moving, and we are using this friction here to stop our vehicles. See number 5. The tire of cars, trucks and bulldozers are threaded. Now you have seen tires, no? Okay, so in tires there are many spikes and many pits. So what is that? That is this threaded, right? Okay, now see here answer why they are doing so. The threaded tires of cars, trucks, bulldozers provide better grip with the road or with the ground, we can say. So the vehicles can move very safely without sleeping on the road. An accident can be avoided, right? If there is no this kind of technique, right, if there is no spikes and pits on the tires, so tire becomes sleepy, right? It can slip very easily, so there will be difficulties for the vehicle drivers, and that is why the tires of your bicycle, of your bike, of your car, or if you observe trucks and buses, all tires are threaded, means they will design like that. There are some spikes and there are some pits. Okay, let's see 6 number. Lightning and thunder take place in the sky at the same time and same distance from us. In monsoon season, many times the thunder and lightning both takes place in the sky. This lightning is seen earlier but thunder is heard later, right? You just observe that when you are observing the sky and this thunder take place or lightning take place, you will see the light first, right? And then you will hear that thunder. Okay, so why it happens? See here. The speed of sound at 22 degrees Celsius is 344 meter per second, right? Read this number, 344 meter per second, right? This one. This is speed of sound. Okay, now speed of light. This is speed of light and this is speed of sound, right? Okay, see speed of light, what it is? It is 3 multiplied by 10 raised to 8. Now 10 raised to 8 means, what is the meaning of 10 raised to 8? See here, 10, after that 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, 8 zeros. How many? 8 zeros, and that all is multiplied by 3, right? That all is multiplied by 3. That is why it is 3 multiplied by 10 raised to 8. Right? 10 raised to 8 means, you understand? Let me give you one example. 10 raised to 2. What is the meaning of that? It is that 10 multiplied by 10 means it is 100. There are 2 zeros, right? There are 2 zeros here. This is 10 raised to 2, right? So if you will observe, this is 10 raised to 8 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. This many zeros multiply by 3, right? So now you can understand that whose speed is more, right? This one. This light speed is more than the speed of sound. Now easily you can identify that. Now what will happen? This shows that speed of light is greater as compared to that of sound, right? Speed of light is more, and easily we can say that if the speed is more, that thing will reach first, right? Okay, therefore, even though lightning and thunder take place in the sky at the same time and the distance from us, the lightning is seen earlier than the thunder later. You can hear the thunder later. This is the reason, right? So remember the speed of light, these two numbers, speed of light and speed of sound. Remember that. Okay, so let's see the next. Two persons cannot communicate with each other on the moon. Now we all know that there is no atmosphere. No atmosphere means there is no any kind of gases present on the moon. No any kind of gases. Okay, now what is the reason? We know that sound can propagate, or we can hear the sound through some medium. Medium is must, right? Without the medium, there is no propagation of sound. Okay, let's see what is the reason here. There is no atmosphere on the moon. Sound cannot travel in the vacuum. No atmosphere means vacuum, right? there is no any substance like air or anything or any gases, right? So there is vacuum. Therefore communication of two persons is not possible on the moon. That is why two persons cannot communicate with each other. Let's see number 8. We cannot hear explosions taking place on the sun. Why we cannot hear? That is also same reason. Sun is so far away from the earth, out from the earth, and between sun and earth there is no atmosphere, right? And that is why sound cannot propagate, or it cannot travel from sun to here on the earth. See here, the sun is so far away out from the earth. There is no atmosphere between the sun and the earth. The sound cannot travel through vacuum. So we cannot hear the explosion taking place on the sun. Now these two answers, this both, number 8 and number 7, both are similar, right? Number 8 and number 7 both are similar, right? You just have to change few words in that. Okay, let's see number 9 here. Okay, so let's see 9 number. Dense trees are planted in the surrounding areas of aerodrome. Now, what is this word? Aerodrome. What is this word? Aerodrome. What is this word? Aerodrome, right? Have you heard this word aerodrome? So aerodrome means, we can say it is airport, right? And we all know that on airport there will be aeroplane will land or it will takes off, right? So it will create lots of sound. That thing will create lots of sound, right? And you have seen that many peoples are living nearby the airports, right? So what is the reason behind this tree plantation? See here, the movements of airplane on runway of aerodrome produce the noise pollution, right? When that airplane takes off or when it will lands, it will, it is so much close to the airport, or it is so much close to the residential area, right? You just imagine when this airplane is flying from the sky at some height, then also we are easily able to hear that sound of airplane, right? Now you just think, when that airplane is passing nearby you from some area where you are living nearby airports, right? So what will be the sound? No, it is so much loud, we can say, or simply we can say it is noise pollution. So it produces noise pollution. So trees are planted in the surrounding areas of aerodrome to cut down the sound reaching the residents. That trees will cut down the sound. It will reduce that noise of airplane, right? It will not reach the residents. And as we all know that there are many disadvantages of this noise pollution, right? Many health problem can occur due to the noise pollution, right? So to reduce that noise pollution, to stop that from reaching the residents, they are planting these trees nearby the airports, right? So today we have seen give reasons, even answer in detail, right? I hope you understand that all thing properly. We are going to discuss this again in live class, right? Up to then, thank you.